guys, Emily here. Ignore the background, but just focus on me and the content of the video. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and if you're not new, please consider hitting that red subscribe button. In today's video, we're going to talk about, in my personal experience, in my personal opinion, what it's like having cerebral palsy in your 20s. If you didn't know, I'm currently 24 years old and about to turn 25 in April, so I'm in my mid-20s, I would say. So I think I have a lot to share on this topic, and I think it'll be a really good video. By the way, this video credit goes to Robin XO here on YouTube. She is a fellow YouTuber with cerebral palsy, but she does like more lifestyle and shopping videos and fashion videos with a little bit of cerebral palsy stuff sprinkled in. So I will link her video and channel down below. So the first thing for me I want to talk about is actually going backwards, and it is when you turn 18. Now for most of us, that's when we graduate high school. Not everyone though, because sometimes you have the option of staying until you're 21 for extra programming, extra services, extra therapy, if you're in public school and stuff like that. That for me personally wasn't an option, and I probably wouldn't have even took it anyway if it was, because high school was just miserable for me. But when I did finally leave high school, it was almost like you were, I live in a very small town, so like everybody knew who I was, everybody knew me from years past, but it's almost like when I graduated high school, it's almost like, okay, time to leave, and then it's like you're thrown into like the streets of New York with your suitcase, and you're like, okay, I gotta figure out what you're doing, so stuff like that. There's no more disability services and resource services and special education services, just like school-wise. So that was difficult. Sometimes, people can make the decision to go to college, and I did for a little while. I went to community college for about 3 years. That was a shit show, to say the least. Right, Maddie? That was a shit show. That was a shit show, to say the least. 1 second, she's gonna want to go outside. For me, it was really difficult because I always knew that I had learning disabilities, but not that they were masked, because I had help, but it was always very clear that I had help in math, and I had modified worksheets, and I had extra time for English, and I used an iPad a lot of the time for different things, and I had modifications to set me up for success. And in my personal opinion, everybody hyped me up and was like, yeah, you could do college, you could do college, you could do college. Just because if you knew me in high school, or if you watched my other videos, I am very passionate about things. I'm very organized. I'm very if something needs to be done on this day, then it'll be done 2 days before, just because that's how passionate and organized I am about things. So everybody was hyping me up because that's the personality that I had, but in my opinion, nobody was realistic about, hey, this is what you might deal with. Even down to the bathroom situation, there was not even a good bathroom that I could use, because in high school, you're covered by IEPs and laws, and you have paras, and you have help, and whatever. And college, you're literally just covered by the ADA, and they literally could care less. Even the disability coordinator at the college could care less about anything that I needed, from like a bigger desk to spread my stuff out, from, needing to leave lectures a few minutes early. Like literally everything that I brought to her, she was like, oh no, we don't do that here. Oh no, we don't do that here. So I went to college from like 18 to 21-ish. Yeah, 21-ish. And then I just decided one day that it was not for me. I will say that as hard as it was and as challenging as it was and stressful and whatever, I don't regret it, because if I didn't try it and I didn't go and I didn't see like, hey, this is what it is, then I would be constantly wondering like, oh, what is it? You know what I mean? How's that gonna work? What is that about? What is that like? Blah, 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 But that also led me to when I decided to, be home and not go to school. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I would say the second biggest struggle of having cerebral palsy in your 20s is if you don't go to college, and then if you decide to go straight to work, how the heck are you going to find employment? Because, funny story, at the time I was going to school, I was actually working with this state organization that helps disabled people find jobs, but my name was at the bottom of the list to find jobs because I was trying to go to school at the time. And I was like, how is me trying to go to school, taking like one class at a time, going 2 days a week, is hindering anything to do with my ability to go to work, But whatever, that was their rule and that was what they had to do. But even if I did go to work, right? Like I did one little stint working in the tax collector's office for my local town hall. That's because my parents know the tax collector and they got me in working with them. That was no thanks to that company or that program that I was working with. That was all my parents doing. But even when I did work, that man needed to rearrange his office so my chair could fit through, so I could have a desk, so I could, have whatever. And of course, not that like I shouldn't have these things, but it was very obvious that, modifications were made for me, and, you could tell that some people were like, oh, this is interesting, or, this and that, whatever. I mean, I had a great time. I loved answering the phones. I loved opening mail. I always say to everyone, like, if I could live in a perfect world, I would love to, like, work in an office. But even then, like, even though the desk worked for the time being, my knees still didn't go all the way underneath the desk because my chair and the desk were the same height. The desk was older, so it wasn't new, obviously, which is not their fault. It's just the way it is, But, like, and I'm not even being, like, nitpicky. If I could go to the Starbucks tomorrow and get a job, I totally would. But I don't have that luxury that other people do, I don't have the luxury of going and saying, hey, can I work to bake some donuts from, like, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. or can I do this or that or whatever. So that's what I would say the other big issue is employment. Because I know a lot of people my age are working. They've gone to college. They have their 9-to-5 jobs. They work every day. I have a friend who is a real estate agent. I have some other friends who are personal trainers. I have a friend who does hair. I have a friend who, I have so many friends who do so many different things that it's just like, yeah, I make YouTube videos and I don't get paid for it yet, so it's kind of a passion project, but, I hang out with my dogs, and I sit in the sunshine. But it definitely is hard though, because it feels like I'm not as purposeful as other people, because I don't have a 9 to 5 job, and I don't get up every day, and I do tasks, right? Like I do, I read my books in the morning, I have my coffee, I do a workout, I film YouTube videos, I do my daily vlog, and then sometimes I put other videos out like this one, but I don't, have a concrete list of things that I need to get done every day, so I almost don't feel as valuable as other people, for lack of a better word, because I'm not working, and I'm not giving somebody their coffee, or making this appointment for someone, or whatever. And yes, a lot of it does come down to accessibility, but a lot of it comes down to my limitations, both physically and just a lot goes into it, right? But the biggest thing that I would say that I struggle with, or one of the biggest things, is also maintaining the body that I have. That's another big struggle. I think if you're counting, this is number 4 or 5 now, because when you especially if you're in the social media space, you see a lot of Instagram blogs of these moms with these kids who have CP, and they go do intensive therapy for 3 weeks a year, or 3 weeks every 6 months or something like that, and they do hours and hours of therapy. For me, they didn't have anything like that when I was younger, so I just did the normal therapy, and I got burnt out really, really quick, because when you do something over and over and over again, it burns you out really, really, really fast. So it's about maintaining the body that I have, and maintaining, my mobility, my strength, and getting my strength better and getting my mobility better. Thankfully, I'm able to do that from home, but I would benefit from therapy, but not a lot of people take adults with chronic conditions, because I don't have I'm not a sports injury person where I hurt my shoulder, but in 6 weeks I'll be back on the field, this is more of maintaining my maintaining where I'm at, and then maybe a little bit of progress, but that's up in the air if that'll happen, because sometimes I can't predict my body. So and a lot of places don't do that. A lot of therapists, they really don't, it's a specialty to work with children with CP, but then it's again, once you turn 18, it's they're oh, no more. It's a childhood disability, no more. Luckily, I found a doctor who has treated me since I was 3 years old to now, thank God, who does my backspin pump, and if I did ever need therapy again, he would totally recommend someone for me. But at this time, it's not something that I need, but that's another struggle that people have, is finding physical therapy care that would help them as an adult. But the last thing that I wanted to mention, and the biggest thing that I struggle with, probably on a daily basis, this is something that I worry about, is number 1, I'm 24 and I'm not living on my own. And number 2, I'm 24 and what is my future gonna look like? A lot of my friends, they are they're engaged or they're married, some of them even have children, and they have their own condos, they have their own houses, they have all this stuff, and I'm oh, I still live at home with my parents, for obvious reasons, I do need physical help, so my mom is my PCA, and as well as a couple of my other family members, but I do need physical help. I mean, I could get that, you know, if I was living on my own too, but I'm just not at the place where I can live on my own yet. It is a goal I'm working towards, but it's not there yet. But it's something that, you know, crosses my mind daily, that I'm like, oh, am I gonna be out on my own by the time I'm 30? Which is my goal, but that's like 5 years from now. That I would have to do a lot to get there, you know. I need, you know, which is good. It's good to have goals, and it's good to, you know, feel inspired to do stuff, but, you know, just putting it together is part of the problem, because it's like, oh, which house is going to be accessible, which condo is going to be accessible, you know, which this, which that. Okay, I'm going to need to schedule this person for these days, and I'm going to need, you know, help to go grocery shopping. Like I said, it's almost easier for me to live at home than have my own space and then have to have somebody, either my mom or somebody else, drive to help me. Like, I don't know, that just feels like redundant. Like, I'll need help anyway, so why not just be in my house? But then at the same time, like, I am 24 and like I crave that independence sometimes. So it's like, some days, yeah, I'm good living at home, like, you know, save money on rent, save money on, you know, bills and whatever. But then it's like, dang, some days, you know, I really want to decorate my own house the way I want to do it. I want to put, you know, the coffee mugs oh, excuse me, you know, like, I want to put the dishes where I want to put them, and, you know, or I want to decorate this way, or, you know what I mean? Just like little things that are stupid, but like in reality it like plays in my brain, you know? So I think that's the biggest part too, is like craving that independence and like doing things that I can do, such as like let the dogs out, make my own coffee, you know, pour my own creamer, get my own water bottle, you know, stuff like that. And then like having to rely on other people for other things is really difficult, because it's like constantly having to ask somebody for things is really difficult, and it really weighs on you sometimes. So yeah, that is the like 5 or 6 biggest struggles that I think that I deal with on a daily basis, having CP as an adult in my 20s. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I know I have a lot of other CP friends, so please sound off in the comments down below how you feel. If you agree with me, if you don't, however you feel, let me know. And thank you for watching. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you again real soon. Bye!